In 1966, Mao Zedong's Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution was launched. It was aimed at removing several top CCP leaders from power, not primarily at Christians or Christianity, but to train the youth, to whom Mao particularly appealed, and who had not experienced real revolution since 1949, and to accustom the young people to challenge, attack, and destroy such senior leaders. Mao first gave them some easy targets. These were called the Four Olds, that is, the ideas, culture, customs, and habits of the exploiting classes. They were urged on by Mao, who personally blessed these young people, who were now called Red Guards, in huge rallies in Tiananmen Square. In their enthusiasm to do Chairman Mao's bidding, the Red Guards ran amok in cities all across the land, hounding people who were vulnerable, ransacking their homes, often beating them, sometimes to death. Or they made public spectacles of their victims, torturing and humiliating them, causing yet more thousands of suicides. This early phase of the Cultural Revolution was one that most affected Chinese Christians. In countless places, Christians were put through such abuse that many did not survive the ordeal. As Mao and his fellow perpetrators of the Cultural Revolution envisioned it, all truth would spring from the people, spoken by Mao, through class struggle, that is, violence. Any ideology other than Mao's interpretation of Marxism-Leninism was heresy. At this point, still early in the Cultural Revolution, fall 1966 to late 1967, all religions were abolished, and all houses of worship were closed. This was the only time, in the past more than 60 years in the 20th century, that a nationwide eradication policy for Christianity was attempted. Some local governments did so in the late 1950s. With religions outlawed, the TSPM or the CPA, Catholic Patriotic Association, and the RAB were summarily abolished, as were the national organizations for Buddhism, Taoism, and Islam. The only concession the regime granted would come in the early 1970s, when more foreigners were living in China and the Christians among them needed a place of worship. The government set aside a few venues for the foreigners to use on Sundays only. Incidentally, on Sunday, June 29, 1975, Dorothy Bush, the daughter of former U.S. President George H.W. Bush, was baptized in a small Chinese church on Rice Market Street when Bush was the U.S. liaison in Beijing. The U.S. and China did not establish formal diplomatic relations until 1979. Dorothy Bush was the first foreigner who was publicly baptized in China since the Cultural Revolution, and one of a few since 1949.